Good morning, everybody. We're on day 4, and I'm sure all of you are exhausted, even if we haven't exhausted the topic. When I introduced us on Tuesday, I started with the Dickens quotation, "This is the best of times and worst of times," and I think we've proved that. We've had very interesting discussions of Ukraine, the Middle East, new technologies, particularly AI, domestic problems of how we develop our own resistance and increase our competitiveness. It's been a very rich set of topics and a rich menu. I think the important thing is that there are connections between these subjects. And the connections that are the type of things we heard yesterday, that you can't talk about Ukraine without thinking about how it affects Taiwan. You can't talk about NATO without thinking about NATO not just as a European problem, but also how it relates to China. So if during this week we haven't solved the many problems, I hope we've helped you to think about them in a bit more interconnected and more creative way. If so, then we've had success. We have a final session this morning, which I think is going to continue that. But if we don't have all the problems solved by the middle of the day, we'll welcome you back next year. And I'll leave it to Anya to tell you how we're going to solve them this morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm always impressed to see you all here bright-eyed with your cappuccinos. We've had a lot of conversations over the last 3 days, but we are particularly excited about this day because we are lucky enough that so many of our current leaders working on these difficult issues every day are here with us. We're welcoming Secretary of State Blinken. We're welcoming the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, C.Q. Brown. We're welcoming National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, 3 distinguished senators. And so we're really glad that you all could be here with us to hear directly from them how all of the challenges of the international system that we've been talking about over the couple of days are actually being handled. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Secretary of State Tony Blinken. He is not only a distinguished diplomat, career public servant, but a genuinely good human being. I'm not going to read his bio, you all know it, but I just want to read one quote from Secretary Blinken because it really reflects what we've been trying to do here this week. He said recently, "We have a vision that is clear and unambiguous of what we'd like the world to become: free, secure, open, and prosperous." And that's a cliche, but it actually means something to all of us. So without further ado, let me welcome Tony Blinken to the stage. And to moderate that conversation, we have our very own Mary Louise Kelly.